Welcome to Money Talks. I'm Cathy Yang, your intel on the Philippine markets and the economy. In the headlines, the Finance Department says the country's current investment environment is the most open and liberal in history, and that the government will find ways to reduce cost and enhance ease of doing business. The Philippine Stock Exchange Index climbed to 6,625, closing the session Thursday at a fresh one-year peak. And the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas proposes to require all banks and non-banks to conduct a self-assessment of their cybersecurity maturity in view of increasing risks online. We have a special report on the state of digital payments. The Finance Department says the Philippines now has its most open and liberal investment in climate's history. Speaking at the Deloitte Tech Summit 2026, Finance Undersecretary Michael Alejandro, on behalf of Secretary Frederick Go, said the government will continue to cut red tape, streamline processes, and shorten approval times to attract strategic investments. The DOF, along with the Trade and Interior Departments, is looking to issue a joint memorandum circular to clarify rules on local taxes, fees, and charges. Officials said the order, which expected within the first quarter, will reinforce that registered business enterprises paying the special corporate income tax are exempt from other national and local charges under the Create More Act. The government is also planning to issue guidelines on enhanced tax deductions before the end of March. The government is pursuing 25 additional official development assistance loan agreements worth $10.3 billion. Finance Secretary Frederick Go said the loans are expected to come from Japan, South Korea, and France as the Philippines moves closer to the upper middle income status, a shift that could end access to cheaper financing. Go also said the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank is eyeing 2 projects for 2026, including a Luzon Digital Connectivity Initiative and a $150 million Metro Manila Sponge City project. Total assets of the Philippine banking system neared 30 trillion pesos at the end of 2025, signaling sustained growth despite a still evolving interest rate environment. Preliminary data from the Bangko Sentral showed bank assets grew more than 8% from 27 trillion pesos in 2024. SM Investment Corporation Group economist Robert Dan Roses said the expansion reflects improving macroeconomic conditions, easing inflation, and stable liquidity. The central bank meanwhile pointed to higher loan portfolios and investment holdings, highlighting the banking sector's continued role in supporting credit demand from businesses and households. Digital payments are racing ahead in the Philippines, but the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas says the journey is proving trickier than expected. In our special report, Money Talks trooped to Fusion Alley, otherwise known as Ugbo 2.0 in Sampaloc, Manila, to try and find out how many investors and vendors and foodies have yet to go digital. Here at Fusion Alley in Sampaloc, otherwise known as Ugbo 2.0, it's foodie haven gone viral. From grilled isaw to overflowing milk tea cups. Come over and choose whatever. Diners all, from the young to the young at heart, come together over their favorite street food. But here's the thing, in today's cashless world, just how easy is it really to pay for these meals without pulling a single centavo or peso bill from your wallet? The Money Talks team came here to find out just how digital Ugbo famous scene has become. Bayad ba nila karamihan sa kanila cash or nagbabayad na sila lahat via digital?
Meron pong GCash, meron pong cash.
Okay.
Pero kadalasan po is cash po.
Kadalasan, like sabihin natin mga 70%, 80%. Pero yung mga nagdi-digital payments, ang gamit ba nila ay InstaPay?
Hindi po kadalasan.
Okay.
Ang iba po, oo. Yung iba naman po, may sariling, kunyari, Gcash lang po.
Pero napansin na po namin na cash pa rin yung tinatanggap po ninyo. Paano po
Hindi
ba?
kami nag-Gcash, ma'am, kasi una-una, matanda na kami. Tapos, yung bang pag may maraming tao, nalilito na kami. Opo. Kaya hindi na kami nag-Gcash. Minsan nag-Gcash kami. Yung ate ko na, naloko. 3 meal na yung tinignan namin wala. Pinapakita lang yung number ng Gcash tapos hindi nila sinisend.
So nagkaroon na po kayo ng experience
Yes, ma'am. Kaya hindi na kami
Kailan po yun? Mga kailan po yun?
Nung panahon ng pandemic, yung kakabalik lang ng tao na pwedeng lumabas, pwede nang kumain.
Pero
yung
before
ganun.
nun po,
Hindi na, wala kaming Gcash
Wala talaga.
Oo. Tinatry lang namin kasi di ba dati, nung mag-pandemic, mas umano yung Gcash.
So yung nakausap ko kanina, sabi ni ate, 70% daw nagbabayad pa rin ng cash. And then 30% ang binabayad
Digital.
digital.
Doon naman sa isa po, 50-50, kalahati ay digital, kalahati ay cash para yung panukli, yung mga walang panukli,
Mahirapan
hindi
pa.
mahirapan. Correct.
Kasi minsan wala silang barya,
Correct.
open lang.
Mm-mm.
So talagang kailangan minsan.
Correct.
Siyempre, di mawala ang tunay na sarap. Dito mo lang mahanap. Yakult, tiring mata.
Bakit po kaya Gcash po ang pinagbabayad po ng mga tao?
Kasi usually ang Gcash kasi napakamadaling transfer. Yung pag-transfer ng pera is napakadali niya. Talagang kasi savings mo, parang ma-divide mo yung pera mo sa cash at saka sa Gcash.
At so, lahat po ng transaction din po ninyong personal, sa kita, lahat po nasa digital na po.
Yes, nasa digital po. Pero usually marami rin po nagbabayad ng cash po sa.
So pwedeng magbayad ng
Pwede din po ka.
cash. Karamihan ba doon sa mga bumibili, nagbabayad ng digital payment? Or
Maramihan pa rin naman po cash payment, pero may nagbabayad talaga siya. Gcash, bank,
mga ilan kaya? Sa 10 customer, ilan ang nagbabayad ng cash?
Sa cash pa rin po, 7 out of 10. 3% po doon, Gcash lang.
Okay. Ako magbabayad ng cash. Okay lang ba? So ako yung 7 out of 10. Ano yung level of confidence yung bumiyahe ng walang physical wallet and depending only on the digital wallet in your mobile phone?
I don't think hindi pwedeng hindi ka magdala pa rin ng physical wallet and physical cash. Kasi may mga hindi pa rin tumatanggap. Lalo na kung halimbawa magta-tricycle ka or mag-jeep. Hindi naman lahat yun naka-Gcash. Although may ilan na meron na. Pero barya-barya pa din ang labanan dito. And then sa mga stall, sa street food, kung bibili ka, nagugutom ka, kailangan mo pa rin ng cash. So, as much as marami nang gumagamit, I don't think na hindi pa lahat nag-integrate to digital payment.
Ikaw, Jane, alam ko mami mo, laging binibilit sa'yo, dalhin mo yung physical wallet.
Hindi talaga ako nagka-cash kasi hindi na ako nagka-cash kasi parang napaka-convenient na meron kang digital wallet. Tapos ako katulad ko, malayo dito ang gagalingan ko din. So hindi ako nagka-tricycle. So grab lang, sakyan lang, diretso na. Tapos yung mga bibili ko, puro digital payments na rin. So, kaya ko well, 2 years lang ako nag-survive na hindi naglalawag lang.
Ako, to be honest, yung mobile phone, kung sana nandun yung aking digital wallet, naiwan ko sa kotse.
Yun
Totoo
lang.
yun kaya dala ko wallet ko and I felt confident
magiging okay pa rin ako dito makakain ako dahil dala ko ang ating trusty wallet. So, wallet pa rin ako. I think it's more of a demographic thing at nakikita rin natin may mga vendors, medyo may edad na, mas may kumpiyansa sila kung all cash. At meron din yung mga talagang young na vendors at saka yung crowd dito napakabata, digital is really the way to go. Tara, kain pa tayo?
Let's take a deep dive now on how digital payments are faring here in the Philippines. E-payments are booming since the pandemic, but so are the risks. Here's a report from EJ Makababad.
QR codes, the new mode of payment for Filipino consumers. Data from the Bangko Sentral show a steady increase in the use of digital payments since the pandemic. Between 2020 and 2024, the share of digital to total retail payments by volume has jumped by nearly threefold. In 2024, that figure hit 57.4%, highlighting momentum in the shift toward e-payment channels. The major driver of this shift, merchant payments, with 2.2 billion transactions recorded in 2024. That translates to 28.8 billion pesos of funds transferred from customers to businesses using e-payment channels. Other contributors include person-to-person transfers and supplier payments.
The COVID-19 pandemic actually accelerated trust and familiarity, particularly with cashless payments. No? And fortunately, the habits have actually stuck.
In the 2023 to 2028 Philippine Development Plan, the country is targeting the volume of digital payments over total retail transactions to reach between 60 and 70%. The Philippines managed to reach its targets in 2023 and 2024, reports the Bangko Sentral. Though Governor Eli Remolona now tells Money Talks, it may miss its targets in the coming years.
To be honest, Cathy, it's been slow. We're on track, but maybe it will take a couple more years than we thought to get where we want to go.
Beyond 2028, Governor.
Yeah, I think so.
Remolona says one particular factor for the slow adoption is the proliferation of cybersecurity risks, raising consumer distrust in the system.
We worry a lot about cyber risks. So even as we encourage digitalization, we also trying to get the banks to also make sure that they defend themselves against cyber risk.
Remolona's fears are warranted. According to TransUnion's 2024 report, retail came in second on the list of industries victimized most often by suspected fraud attempts. It's a 5% increase from the previous year. And there are other concerns: slow internet connection and digital literacy gaps. Rivera says all of these factors make Filipinos hesitate trusting e-payment channels.
The barrier to digital transaction is no longer just access alone. It's all about confidence of the users, capability, even protection. So without confidence, without capability, without protection, then Filipinos would remain to be hesitant or choose to remain excluded in this digital infrastructure.
The Bankers Association of the Philippines earlier expressed confidence in the government's digital push. The BAP called for tighter coordination among government agencies in combating digital fraud through a national scam database, as well as enhancing consumer education campaigns, among others. In consumption-driven Philippines, secure and accessible digital payment channels are not only vital, but a necessity, especially as citizens place trust as their most valued currency. Kapatid EJ Makababad, we are One News.
In other news, it is the fourth and final day of former President Rodrigo Duterte's confirmation of charges hearing in The Hague. On day 3, his camp pushed back against the prosecution's arguments. Lead Defense Counsel attorney Nicholas Kaufman has questioned the interpretation of Duterte's speeches, saying there is no direct evidence or smoking gun linking him to the alleged extrajudicial killings. He stressed no witness in the 49 incidents charged will testify that the former president gave a direct order to kill. The defense also argued that while the prosecution highlighted headline-grabbing statements about the drug war, it failed to present other parts of those speeches that referred to police self-defense. Meantime, Malacanang says President Bongbong Marcos is hands-off on the proceedings, adding that Duterte's decision not to attend the hearings is on his own. The palace also gave no definitive answer on whether the Philippines will rejoin the foreign tribunal, which it withdrew from in 2019. You're watching Money Talks. Coming up, a look at the markets as the PSEI hit a one-year high on Thursday. And in startup and beyond, a conversation with a Filipino-designed pimple patch brand that's turned into a Gen Z favorite. Doan Kim, CEO and co-founder of Posh Skin Co., joins us live. Keep it here on One News. Money Talks. I'm Cathy Yang. Let's take a quick check at our own markets on this final trading day of the month. PSEI opens this Friday lower by 0.25%, 6,607. The stock market survived late profit-taking yesterday to hit a fresh one-year peak, achieving its best performance since December 12, 2024. Japheth Tantiangco of PhilStock's Financials says investor confidence remains strong due to fourth quarter and full year 2025 corporate results. As for the Philippine peso, it opens today a tad weaker, 57.68 to the dollar. The peso slid yesterday by nearly 10 centavos to settle at 57.608 against the greenback as traders await progress in talks between the U.S. and Iran. The 10-year government bond yields ticked down to 5.922%. Corporate earnings reports continue to roll in, with major firms posting full year 2025 results. PLDT's net income slipped 7% in 2025 to 30 billion pesos as higher expenses and intensified competition weighed on results. Core income also declined despite a 1% increase in gross revenues. Robinsons Retail reported 5.7 billion pesos in net income for 2025, lower than last year's figure, which included a one-off merger gain. Stripping out that base effect, core net earnings rose 6%, while full-year sales climbed nearly 6% to 210 billion pesos. And MegaWorld posted an 11% increase in net income to 24 billion pesos in 2025, driven by sustained growth in leasing and property sales. Total revenues rose 5%, with leasing income up 11% on stronger office, mall, and hotel performance. He is the CEO and co-founder of Posh Skin Co., a Philippine-designed pimple patch brand that has become a Gen Z favorite, and in a year and 3 months is now also available in Singapore. With us now on our weekly Startup and Beyond segment, please welcome Do-won Kim. It's good seeing you, Do-won. Welcome to the program.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, so how did you come up with that designer pimple patch in your face?
Yeah, again, thanks so much for having me. We started looking at the acne skincare market in the Philippines because we really saw a white space that we thought we could comfortably address. When we surveyed the market 2 years ago, we saw that there was really nothing that was really cute, really fun, and accessible for Gen Z. If you think about people that are struggling with acne, typically they're 14 to 28, right? And in this day and age of TikTok, what we saw was people wanted to embrace their flaws. They didn't want to simply hide it.
That is so interesting because during my time, if you've got a zit in your face, you wouldn't even want anybody addressing it.
Yeah.
So it's that change in the way people think about addressing a zit is to actually magnify it.
Exactly.
And put on a designer patch.
Exactly.
That must cost, though.
No. So contrary to people thinking it might be expensive, it's actually a lot more accessible than you would think. You know, when we designed the brand Posh, we designed it with the boundary conditions of emerging Southeast Asia. So when we look at the pricing versus what you would see in the US, and designer pimple patches got really famous with Hailey Bieber and other celebrities posting about them with the stars and other cute designs. Contrary to what we see in mature markets like the US, we're selling it for maybe 1/6 of the price, 1/5 of the price, and so it's extremely accessible. Most of our pimple patches start at $199, and on your favorite marketplaces, there's always double-day promos, vouchers, etc., to make it even more accessible.
And it is online, so that also says a lot about accessibility. But I see that you've also gone into some of the convenience stores. So what is the way forward then? Is it all online or a little bit more brick and mortar or both, especially for the Philippines?
So for us, we truly believe in an omni-channel system. So we believe our first touch point with our customers is going to be online, via TikTok, via Instagram, via Facebook, via YouTube. And then at the same time, as a company, as an organization, we must have an omni-channel distribution. We know in the Philippines, it's still very much a retail-first market. Consumer habits, every Sunday, what do? We go to the mall, right? So currently, we're found in all Watsons nationwide, as well as 7-Eleven in Singapore. And we are exploring other channels, other partners to work with throughout the Philippines to expand our
Right, but you're also
distribution.
working on a market that's slowing. I mean, the economic growth has slowed to 4.4%. What does that mean for a discretionary product as yours, with people possibly maybe trading down or maybe even delaying purchases?
Right, wonderful question. And I think about this quite often. So what we're seeing, thankfully for us, is that people are applying the lipstick effect. Now, what do I mean by that? what they're doing is they're delaying high-ticket price purchases. However, for things that inspire them, that it's accessible, that's a low price point. We see that consumption still happening, and fortunately for us, our sales have been growing, and we hope to continue that.
I know, and you're continuing these products then to Singapore. You've chosen a developed market. It's also still Southeast Asia, living within those boundaries. But tell us more about the market that you're finding in a developed economy with the Gen Zs there, and are you also looking to maybe mine the Gen As?
Yeah, so in mature markets, we need to fundamentally have a different go-to-market approach. In the Philippines, we need to optimize for accessibility, i.e. lower price points, as well as convenience, right, having more channels. For us in Singapore, what we want to do is we want to position our brand in a premium outlet and premium channels, such that given the consumption power or the purchasing power is higher, we need to meet our customers where they're at. So that's the way that we think about mature markets versus growing or emerging markets. Now, with regards to kind of going up from a generation point of view, going from Gen Z to beyond millennials, boomers, etc. What we want to do is beyond having these cute designer pimple patches, we've now introduced generic stars, the round patches, so then that way we can address a larger swath of the market. You might be 30, 40, 50. That doesn't mean you don't get the occasional pimple, and we want to be able to be there and address them and meet them where they're at.
And your roadmap takes you through the ASEAN market, as I understand. This is the interest, even as you're Korean, and it's interesting that you wouldn't want to think about the Korean market first, but you are set on the ASEAN market.
Yes.
Why so? And where does the Philippines lie in that space then?
So when we created Posh, Posh is a Korean brand made in Korea, formulated in Korea. Now, when we formulated the products, rather than formulating for North Asia, i.e. Korea, China, Japan, we formulated this to be relevant and resonant with Southeast Asia. What we mean by this is the formulation is very light, it's very airy. So, for example, with our skincare, this is a very hot, humid, tropical climate, right? That is very different from the Korean climate, where you have harsh winters. You need thick skincare in order to prevent the dry skin. So the way that we formulated this for Southeast Asia, hence the reason why as an organization our focus is to grow across Southeast Asia. We believe, given that Philippines is our home market, we must establish market leadership here before we really start looking at other markets. Now, the next 5 years, what that's going to look for us is, obviously, I'm currently based in Singapore. So Singapore is where we're looking at it as a test bed, dipping our toes to make sure that we understand the nuances of launching a new market. However, once we've established the Philippines, we will look at Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and other ASEAN markets.
That's a whole lot. Well, thank you, and all the best then in establishing your space here in the Philippines first.
Thank you so much.
Do-Wan Kim of Posh Skin Co. And before we go, here are a couple of films that you might want to check out this weekend. First, the American rom-com Solo Mio, starring Kevin James. It follows a groom left at the altar who decides to push through with his honeymoon in Italy, turning heartbreak into an unexpected journey of self-discovery. And if you're up for a scare, Scream 7 is now showing nationwide. A new Ghostface killer targets Sidney Prescott's daughter, forcing her to confront her past and protect her family once again.
You need to make sure you shoot him in the head. I'm gonna burn it all down. Mother!
Maybe we can invite Ghostface to the show. How about that? That's it for Money Talks. I'm Cathy Yang. Catch us again Monday, 9:30 a.m. Kapatid, we are One News, all sides, all the time. Have a great day and a great weekend ahead. I'll see you Monday.